All right, everyone. This is SANDCAST Beach Volleyball with now Olympian Bourne and Travis Mewhirter. Tri is obviously still a bit busy in Tokyo. He plays later tonight, Tokyo time, tomorrow morning. Well, I guess when this comes out, he will have already played. But Tri's busy is the point. And on the podcast today, we have a really fun guest, my colleague with the FIVB, whose voice you will no doubt recognize. It is the voice of Lewie Lett. How you doing, my friend?
How are you, mate? Thanks for having me. What an honor.
Oh, it's
Maybe a bigger honor as being at the Olympics itself.
that.
So,
Now you're
stoked
just
to be
buttering
here.
me up.
Yeah.
Sandcast
Brilliant.
Olympics.
Yeah, same.
But man, stoked to have you on. And I think that the work that you, Dane, Chris Marlowe, Kevin Wong, like all you guys, I don't think anybody really appreciates, one, how much work you're doing, and two, how good of a job you guys are doing. Because we were just talking a little bit before we came on, and just like the sheer volume of work that you're doing is crazy. I mean, how's Tokyo been for you? I mean, it's been a pretty wild ride from what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a personal perspective, it's been interesting because this is my room, and it's sort of the size of a Barbie dream house. To put it into perspective. Um, and for the first 2 weeks, we're only allowed to the office, which is the IBC, which is a huge center for the broadcast, and then we could come back here. So a lot of time spent on this chair. Haven't seen any of Tokyo yet, but then on
Yeah.
the flip side, you're at the Olympic Games, so the sort of traveler inside you and the explorer sort of goes to sleep anyway because you're at the biggest sporting show on earth. So
Right.
and volleyball's provided enough like thrills and spills in terms of drama and all of the stories coming out to really make it an interesting trip.
Yeah. So you are you when you're commentating, are you actually at the venue, or are you doing it like right from where that chair that I'm looking at you right now?
Not from this chair, luckily.
Okay.
There's a big IBC, so it's International Broadcast Center.
Okay.
It's unbelievable, really. So you've got all the producers, all the quality control people. You have people, their bosses, sort of thing, in a huge operation. Um, and then if I'm covering skateboarding, I'm at venue. But for beach volleyball, we're in the office or in the off tube as it's called.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
it's
man, what's the prep like? Well, actually, let's just start with just the prep for just beach volleyball. Like, what's a day look like before? I mean, right now, April and Alex are playing. So, like, if you, for example, were about to commentate on April and Alex against Cuba, um, what's just walk me through the day, a day in Tokyo, just prepping for matches, commentating, and then winding down.
Yeah, I look to try and get in. It depends when my session is, but I try and get in 4 or 5 hours before. I look at head to heads. I'll also there's some really good information online. Like Dennis Wagner, Tim Simmons have done a lot of work in the past with beach volleyball database, and they're incredible. So a lot of it's been done in terms of head to head matches. It's then how much you want to poke around. So who did these teams lose to in the previous Olympics? Is there any sort of stories that sort of match up that you can find in the background? Sometimes you can be searching for half an hour and not really find much,
Right.
but you always do find something eventually. That's the nature of the job. If you poke hard enough, you sort of find stuff, and then you're looking with teams like Cuba, who you might not see on the world tour enough. You really have to sort of shake the tree, so to
Yeah.
speak, on as much information as you can,
Yeah.
or video. So it all depends. But now it's getting to the business end. That I'm quite lucky to have covered quite a lot of these teams before, and followed their stories in. So in theory, I don't really need to do as much beach volleyball because I know them. I know their coaching staff. I can talk to their coaching staff and communicate with them,
Yeah.
which I'm really lucky to do. It's such a great community, and it's full of such great people who are more than willing to help feed more detail into the broadcast, which I believe it always needs to help the sport grow.
Yeah. And I think one of the good things you do, I mean, building rapport is, as a journalist or commentator, is one of the biggest things. And I think one of my favorite things about you is that you always keep the broadcast 1,000% positive.
Yeah,
You know, if even if a team, and we've seen a lot of missed serves in Tokyo just in general. I don't know if it's the nerves or whatever, but people are missing serves at a rate much higher than normal. Like, but you'd never be like, oh, Phil and Nick are just choking this game away, missing serves. It's like, oh, he was being aggressive with it and just missed it. Like, I love that you keep everything's got a positive spin on it, a good twist. And I think that that's probably why the players, will have that rapport with you and have that kind of open line of communication, because it's not all that common that you have those open lines, especially at this level at the Olympics.
Yeah, I also believe that nobody's meaning to really go back and miss their serves, right? Like if the USA indoor team have missed a lot of serves, but that's just what they hang their hat on, so to speak. Like they go out serving tough and missing a few in the meantime. They just miss more than what they should have and could have done, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Olympics is crazy because we're seeing a lot of service errors, and we're seeing a lot of nerves in the passing as well. And I guess it's only going to get more like that as we continue. But whoever holds their nerves is going to go a long way. And
Yeah.
whoever's got that experience as well, I think. Like there's a few sort of double Olympians in there who can draw on some experience to help see them through. And I think we saw that yesterday in the Swiss game. Heidrich and Verscha Dupree had that extra Olympics on
Yep.
Verscha Healy, and I mean they won by the closest of margins. So there must have been something they could draw on in the past to help get them through that game.
Yeah, and the match that I thought was really interesting that I watched replay, didn't watch it live because it was at like 3 a.m. I'm on the East Coast right now. Was Laura Ludwig and Maggie Kozik against Agatha Duda, and I mean Laura obviously multi-time Olympian, gold medalist. Agatha won a silver medal, multi-time Olympian, and then they both had Olympic rookies, and that was 16, 14, and 3. I mean, it's nuts. So I was actually doing the math because I'm writing a story for the FIVB that this is the most upsets we've had on the women's side in Olympic history for beach volleyball. So we have an 18 seed in the quarterfinals, a 10 seed in the quarterfinals. I think Anouk and Joanna are the 12. And before that, it was basically like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like the women's has always just been kind of a chalk walk. But this year, it's just getting deeper and deeper, which I think probably makes your job more fun, getting all these close, crazy matches.
Yeah, I think more fun, but like also it's just not the strange things. It's not surprising to hear it's the most open and surprising games of all time, because you sit in like coming up, I'm like, oh, there's 10 to 12 teams that could easily medal here, and there's Russia that went out yesterday, and Russia against Australia looked like they could win a medal,
Yeah.
beating Australia, and then yeah, like Gladinia and Kravchenica just came back. They were impressive, but it just I don't know. The only thing you know in this games is that the unexpected's on the horizon, and you don't know what's coming your way.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's it's nuts.
you're clearly so passionate about this game because I know, I mean, you commentate. Is this your first Olympics?
Yeah, it's first Olympics for beach volleyball, so it's a
Okay.
strange journey that I've been on. I was like, I did table tennis at the previous Olympics. Sport
Okay.
president. Ding dong at the ping pong. Uh, I don't know if there's any table tennis fans out there. Sorry if I offended you. Um, but yeah, and then I covered another strength of mine is skiing. So I've covered the Winter Olympics, strangely enough. So
Okay.
it's everything eventually came together for this one, and I got beach volleyball, which is my passion and my strength.
Okay. Very cool. So how did you walk me through your journey here? I mean, you had ping pong, you're doing skateboarding, skiing got you in the Winter Olympics, and beach volleyball is your passion. It seems like one, you're really well rounded in your knowledge base across sports. Because I know anytime you cover an event, you got to know it like really well. So you probably have a deep knowledge of ping pong now. Now you're going to know skateboarding more than your average Joe. How did you get into commentating in the first place, and how did beach volleyball kind of end up as the pinnacle of your passions?
Good question. I was like a national junior champion for beach volleyball, but I'm 1 meter 67.
Okay.
Um, I couldn't side out, and I couldn't put anything away in transition. And funny enough, I got served every ball. So yeah, um, it was always gonna end quickly. Um, and then I just to be a ski teacher, and I love coaching. Like I still love coaching. I coach every day. Um, and I love beach volleyball. So I was coaching. I came back from being a ski teacher, studied psychology and coaching, So at 23, I was coaching our national team, or 24. Was in LA for a couple of off seasons with them. Was figuring it out, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I learned so much in that time. Like we were training with Phil and Rosie, like, and I was just in awe, to be honest, of
Yeah.
being around guys I watch on YouTube and TV, and just being around it. We had some good results. Qualified for European champs. Had some good results in the Continental Cup, European Games. We did all right. We did really well, actually. And then that stopped. Um, and then actually we were in Vaduz, and Sasha Haya from Switzerland needed a live stream commentator in Biel, and I'd done a little bit of live eventing for our tour over here, and a little bit of expert stuff, and
Yeah.
it just to be I was only 2 hours away, and before I knew it, I was there trying to figure it out, and yeah, after that, sort of just went from there.
Yeah. And clearly it's come pretty far. Did you ever think that you'd be, just getting randomly called for a couple Swiss tour events to, I mean, you're doing Olympic skiing, Olympic table tennis, Olympic skateboarding, Olympic beach
Yeah.
volleyball. It's a cool journey, my friend.
Yeah, it's a really cool journey, and I think it all just everything just feeds each other. So I coach because it helps my commentary. My commentary helps my coaching. And then I call on my other, yeah, sort of qualified coach in sort of 8 to 10 different sports, and sort of means I can touch out a little bit. Yeah, it's crazy. And I still don't know I don't know where it's going either. Like there's no security in this job, so it's
No.
you're sort of just playing blind and seeing what happens, what pops in your inbox, and how it works. So it's yeah, it's a mad journey with zero security. But I'm a bit of a chancer in life, so it suits me fine.
Yeah.
It's,
And that's part of the fun. And then you get that email and it's like, hey, you want to cover the Olympics? It's like, yes, I do.
yeah, I do it. Yeah, yeah, the worst job to have. And then yeah, then you get here and you actually don't have time. Like you'll know what it's like. You don't have time to actually savor it. But I managed to get to the venue the other evening, um, for Blauermusen and Argentina.
Okay.
It's pretty cool just to be there as a fan and just savor that moment of being at the Olympics and watching the sport that you love.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you're still coaching. So you coach beach. Are you still ski instructing too?
Nah, no skiing. I
Okay.
need to do more skiing.
Okay.
Skiing makes me smile as well. But yeah, coaching. Run a club in Crystal Palace with a friend, former player, Jake Sheaf.
Okay.
And then we've just started something with a couple of the youngsters over the past six to 8 months. But if you're going to do it, you need to do it every day. So that's sort of been our motto. Not now because I'm away, but trying to grow something that's every day. That's just supporting those guys, and hopefully something we can build to be bigger than them and bigger than all of us, and hopefully do something that's going to help grow the sport a little bit more in the UK, because it's a tough sport in the UK,
Yeah.
but it is getting better. It's slowly getting better again, so
Yeah.
it's good.
I mean, you look at the sport around the world and it is blowing up. I mean, everywhere. I mean, just if you look at the top 10 men's teams, I mean, you have pretty much 10 different countries from all over the place. Like, if you would have said 10 years ago that Norway would be one of the best men's beach volleyball teams in history, you'd have been insane. Like, Norway. And
Yeah,
it's spreading. It's amazing.
yeah, absolutely. But it's hard because I think Europe have done such a good job in catching up on the United States and Brazil, where before it would be Brazil, USA, and you'd like I remember growing up watching World Tour, and it would be Phil and Todd, Emmanuel Alisson every week, or Ricardo, like every week, and now you don't know who's making that final. Like
Right.
it could be anyone, Berman's De Groot, or just coming from nowhere making a final and playing legit. Just that's the way the game's going, and I like it a lot. Like
Yeah.
amount of effort behind the scenes. I don't know like how it is really in Brazil. I haven't quite got too much into Brazilian volleyball as much as I'd like, but the amount of work in Europe that goes on behind the scenes with stats, with studying, and it's just every day of every minute of every day someone's trying to do something, and the sport's really professionalizing, and I think that's great from a beach volleyball perspective. But being from England and caring about English beach volleyball is like we're behind in this race, and our boat's going slower, and it's got some holes in it. So I don't know how it catches up, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the sport just race on, and that makes me happy.
It is. I tell you what, two English players that I think have a very bright future are the Bello brothers.
Yeah, you played them, right?
I did. I played them in Bulgaria in the qualifier, and man, those kids fly. And
Yeah, they're
they are
Estonian.
they're talented. They have a really bright future. I wouldn't be too surprised if they start working their way up 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they almost qualified in Cancun all 3 times. I mean, they took Ermacora and Pristaus to 16, 14 the third. They took Estonia
Yeah.
deep in the third. They're good. They can hang with the best. Once they get a little more, I mean, they're brothers, so they fight. Once they kind of get over that a little bit, I mean, they're going to be very good.
Yeah, they're doing very well. They did well at the youth Commonwealth Games, so they took a medal there, and they've done really well at junior level. Um, and it's just now they're in that phase between stepping up and adapting, I guess, to the senior stuff. So it's really good. They're doing really well.
Yeah.
And then the team that I'm with, they're probably just in terms of their consistency to being out training. This is their first year, but they're also playing really, really good. Different style of beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Uh, Faster. But yeah, I feel like they could be two teams that are playing a good level. Yeah, very, very soon as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch them rise. I'm leaving for Bulgaria tomorrow for Sofia Beach. They've hosted like this is their like fifth FIVB this
The
year. So
20,
that's been my home away from home this year.
yeah, yeah. You have to. My guys are out there as well, so you have to say hello to them.
I
It's
will.
their first one of the year because they're allowed to travel now.
Okay, awesome.
So they'll be pumped.
Yeah, I will absolutely say hey to them.
Yeah, you have to. They're good
Yeah.
boys.
So
Yeah.
how many events have you commentated this year for beach? Have you done all of them? Because I remember you did the Cancun ones, right? I think I remember hearing you in Doha.
Yeah, so I have three. I had Doha, which it was the first one back. So they're also testing it, so we had Marco Kratiger with us, which was good fun.
Mhm.
And we also had the live stream up, which was awesome, so we could read the comments, which sometimes makes me nervous. Someone's going to start throwing abuse at you, which is fine. I can take it, well, sort of, but I take it personally. And then at the same time, um, yeah, it's been pretty busy. Cancun, and then I had Ostrava, and then we shared them out. So there was a sharing policy between us, which was cool. Um, and now it gets busy. I have Vienna for the European champs.
Nice.
Two King of the Court with Wilco
Awesome.
in Hamburg and Utrecht, which would be great because then Richie can come out for
Yeah.
Utrecht as well. And Richie just makes my just makes my stomach hurt like laughing the whole time.
Dude,
Um,
he's one of the funniest guys. Just such a dry wit too.
yeah, he's a dry wit, and he's just like he just rips himself. I love it. Yeah,
I know.
he doesn't need anybody else to give him any abuse. He'll do that himself. Um,
No.
and then I have some indoor, some Euro volley, and then I have the World Tour finals. So I have like 9 weekends in a row.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend's gonna pack her bags and and leave me pretty soon if I
Or
carry
could
on.
she come on the road with you? That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, it'll be great. Not this time, but hopefully a little bit more. But yeah, I'm living the dream. Can't complain because it's just yeah, I love it. Which I hope comes out in the broadcast. I get
It
pretty
does.
excited.
It
But
does. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about listening to your matches is that it's so clear that this isn't a job for you. I
nah,
think that you'd be watching these matches anyway, and you might as
yeah,
well get paid to talk about them,
yeah, yeah.
And I
I'm
mean,
very
that's me and you are kind of in a similar situation where like, I want to write about these and people have decided to pay me to write about them. So I'm going to do it. you
yeah.
know?
You're so good at that. You can tell that because the effort that you put into what you're doing and the detail and the little stories that you find. Like yeah, the Moroccan story that I was reading yesterday, I was just laughing to myself. I was like, you plucked that nowhere. It's class. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great sport. I love it. I come from a volleyballing family too, so it's something I've never like I've never been without it, and I don't know what I'd do without it at times either. It's given me a lot. So I like to try and give back. I think if you're good to it, it's good to you.
I think
Uh,
so.
so I'm hoping it just keeps going like that.
So what's the beach volleyball scene like in England? Did you grow up in England?
Yeah, so I grew up. My dad played, and he also runs the tour with Jake. So there's a
Okay.
there's a UK tour now that they've done that individually. They've taken it private away from the federation, but the federation now they're working together, which is great.
Awesome.
And it's just growing nicely. It's only like 2 or 3 years in, but I feel like the right people are getting into the right places for the sport for the future, which I think is really key.
Okay.
And something we've struggled with at times is having the right people in the right places. So there's a lot of players, man. Like, it's such a multicultural city, London, that there's a lot of beach volleyball like lovers who want to play all the time. Battle is how do we drag it to the next up a few levels, really.
Right.
Difficult when I'm commentating every day, and that takes me away from coaching. And there's only so much one person can do. And then Jake Sheaf's doing a lot of work in the background with his company, the club that we run, and the tour. It's just, yeah, it's crazy, but there's a lot of good people pushing it in the right direction.
Yeah. And so you grew up playing. I mean, I know you said that, they kind of started the tour, took it private. It's been building for a couple of years, but what was your background like in the sport?
Playing badly.
But
I mean, I could pass really well. Just everything had an upward arc to it. Yeah, like there wasn't much around, like it was just us figuring it out for ourselves, really.
Yeah.
With the help, there wasn't any like there was the odd weekend camp, but you just had to love it and figure it out. We were lucky to have the 2012 Olympics, which was phenomenal for the sport. But then straight away afterwards, we pretty much lost all of our funding. So it went from having
bummer.
We had 2 teams at the Olympic Games, with the women, almost having 2 teams. They lost in the final of the Continental Cup. They're 2 real solid teams.
Okay.
Didn't medal, kept a little bit of funding, but then lost it the year after. So you've gone from having a full-time program with like full-time coaches and going in the right direction and making all these gains to then losing it, which is tough for the sport. But I guess was also like a bit of for my own personal career was a bit of a blessing, because I picked that up and was happy to do it, to not pick up the program, but pick up the team that I worked with little experience to just go away and learn the game. So in theory, it's bad for the sport, and sorry everyone, but it was good. It was good for me now, like looking back, to have that opportunity to really learn the game, stat the game, prepared my guys to play the likes of Nikolai Lupo at the European Champs and statting all night and stuff like that. Like the opportunities that just don't come around very often for me.
I mean, the CEV does such a good job with everything. I mean, it looks like their events are top notch, and you're covering the European Champs in Vienna, right?
I can't wait.
And from what I've seen, I have not had the pleasure of playing in Vienna, but it looks incredible.
Yeah, you have to. It's unreal. It's literally unbelievable. You're walking around the stadium arena, and there's Austrians that can't walk in a straight line. It's like having a massive sesh the whole way through the day, and then watching beach volleyball, having the best time. And I just believe that somewhere where the sport fits in those countries, like Klagenfurt's such an iconic venue as well that we don't see anymore. But all stem from that, and putting beers underneath people's seats in the first couple of years.
Yeah,
you come in, sit down, and start drinking beers, watching beach volleyball, and it's progressive. Yeah.
Why do you think? Why do you think we went away from having an event in Klagenfurt? Because I've heard like unanimous good things about Klagenfurt. Like everyone says that that's one of their favorite places.
Yeah, I think it must have been for a business reason for Vienna, because Vienna's just taken over it, really. The same, the same sort of organization, the same promoters. They just moved it to Vienna, which is still as iconic now, I guess, and as much fun. I'm just looking forward to that. They have this corona-proof stadium as well, but having watched the Olympics with no fans, I just think it's going to be great to go straight to Vienna the week after the Olympics and have a completely different experience of just the party atmosphere and everyone having a good time.
Yeah. How strange is it commentating on matches with no fans? Because I feel like for you as a commentator, I mean, the players obviously kind of can ride the emotions of the crowd. But as a commentator, you kind of play off that as well. And now it's dead. You got nothing to work with.
Don't you worry about me, mate. I'm having a great time.
I know you are.
Thanks for your concern in that, but yeah, I'm just I would worry if I'm at the venue just shouting away a microphone and there's the else in the whole stadium. Yeah, I get some funny looks from the players, I guess. But while I'm in a soundproof booth, I'm just fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough, but there's loads of obstacles. Like Cancun was done from home, so I was like 3 a.m. in the morning
Jeez.
on my laptop. Yeah, and like just talking through it. So it's all good. Once you get into it, it's fine, right? Like it's no worries.
Yeah. Is it I mean the venue itself looks amazing, and I was talking to Try, and he said that stadium is one of the coolest places that he's ever played in, and it would be 10 times cooler with fans. But it looks like such a cool setup out there.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like it's just so it's quite steep as well. So you feel that no matter where you would sit, you feel on top of the court
Yeah.
too. It's pretty, yeah, it's a pretty special arena. I think it's amazing to play in it with no fans. So I can't imagine what it would be like if it was full. How's Try doing?
He's great. I mean, it's insane. He's leading the tournament in hitting percentage,
Yeah, he's
which
flying.
which I think is totally crazy. Because I mean, he's hitting. Him and Jake have never even like played around at practice together. You know, it'd be one thing if Try came in to play with Taylor, and they grew up playing together. They're really close friends. But him and Jake, like they're rivals. He comes in having never played with Jake, never played full time defense, and Try's playing maybe the best volleyball I've ever seen him play. So he's
Yeah.
thriving it, and he's having a great time. He's just like super dialed in, super focused. Like at no point did he ever think I don't belong here. You know, this is what he's been training for the last 10 years. So
I
he's,
mean,
he's
have you seen the
great.
look? You seen the look in his eye when he steps on court, like and Jake as well. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to mess with these guys.
Yeah.
Like that's yeah, there's a lot going, yeah, not in their way. So they just look so ready for it, and they look like they're ready to attack it. But they've got some, yeah, there's some big games coming.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, it's been crazy to watch Anders and Christian suddenly become pretty human. I mean, still, I think probably right now playing like the second best team in the world. I think Qatar is, they look almost unbeatable. I mean, Phil and Nick gave him a heck of a run. But I think it's great because now we don't really know who's going to win. Before you could say with almost 70% certainty that Anders and Christian were going to win, but now it's like we don't know. We have no idea, and that top of the bracket's nasty.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Cora, I messaged him after the game, and he was like, I think he just enjoyed watching them play a little bit calmer against Blarameusen.
Yeah,
And I feel bad. I feel bad at this time of the competition because, like, yeah, I love a lot of these guys, and some have got to go through, and some have got to go out, and it's a real tough time. But for the Vikings, they looked a little bit more steady yesterday, didn't they? They looked a
they
bit
did.
tense and nervous in the opening games, and that's completely understandable. I guess with the last few weeks and coming into games of, yeah, no one's ever hyped up my beach volleyballing skills as much as the Vikings have had theirs hyped up. So
Yeah.
I guess it brings a different dimension of yeah, of thoughts and pressure. So it's nice to see them play well. I felt sorry for Robbie and Alex because I also think they're great ambassadors for the game, and
Yeah.
they're phenomenal athletes as well, and players. So the competition's less without them, but obviously the Vikings are the Vikings.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the that Dutch talent pipeline is getting deep. I mean, you got Brouwer Mewsen, you watched Bormans and de Groot win in Stad. Were you commentating in Stad?
I wasn't, no, but I watched it.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean they look great. And then you got Peninga, you got Booter, Varenhorst and Vandeveld. Varenhorst and Vandeveld looked like almost inhuman when they were. I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to stop those guys when they're passing well.
yeah, they just go over the top of everything, right?
Everyone.
7 foot tall, hit it high. Like, okay, it doesn't matter about angles anymore. Just try and get in my airspace, and good luck to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just think that they're all training as a squad now, and I think it used to be more individual in the Netherlands. Like they used to train separately, and now they're training together and realizing that they can light a match over that if they all train with each other every day. The level's
yeah,
just crazy good.
it is.
But there's been so many stories through that, like um, Brouwer Mewsen actually beating Van der Velde and Varenhorst in Ostrava to make that final four spot. And if it went the other way, then there's a chance that there would have been two Dutch teams at the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
Um, just things like that, where it's just crazy to be. so together in some ways, but then realizing that it is still business.
Right.
And you can't be too personal all the time. So yeah, it's fascinating. I have the best seat in the house for all this stuff. I love it.
Yeah. And it's one of the tough parts, I think, for me as a writer and for you as a commentator is that, like, as you mentioned, you kind of root for everyone to win and play their best. And then you see someone lose and you're like, oh man, I'm so bummed for you. On the other hand, I'm also stoked that this team is moving on and enjoying success. And I think that's also clear in your broadcast that, you know, you're like, I feel bad for Brower Musen, great ambassadors for the sport.
Yeah.
So are Anders and Christian. You know?
Yeah. Like everyone's a good guy. Like
Yeah.
who you who you backing? Like everyone's a great person. And I mean, it's not soccer. It's beach volleyball. Like everyone gets on. Everyone's there's small rivalries, but on the whole, it's everyone's got a lot of respect for each other. And
Right.
I mean, the community's bigger than just one pair or one team, and I think everyone gets that too.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some great moments, but some sad moments in the next in the next week as well. So gutted I'm not covering the whole way through to the finals.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can go and watch it live and actually get away from it a bit, having to actually explain those moments.
Yeah. So what is your schedule looking like? So obviously you're not commentating on April and Alex right now. So what's your schedule looking like for the rest of the games in terms of beach?
I've got 3 matches tonight, which start with Fialek and Brill.
Okay.
Up against Nikolai Lupo, which will be fun.
Yeah.
Then I have Herrera Gavira, Klasilnikov, Stoyanovsky.
Okay.
And then I have the final game, which shows how well organized I am this morning. Which I need to clock into and check if I need to check if the schedule's still the same.
Yeah.
but yeah, I have the last game as well, which I need to check. But yeah, they're all good ones now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know which way any of it's going to go. I didn't see Cantor Wozniak going out that early.
Watching Cantor, it's tough because he just looks so hurt all the time now. And I don't know if he actually is hurt or not, but you just look at him walking, it's like he doesn't look close to 100%. And then did you see the red card that they gave him?
Yeah. I mean, those are interesting moments to broadcast on, because for a moment you're like, oh, like he's hurt, and then like, well, they're also 6 down in the final set, so a medical timeout would be pretty beneficial right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, is he pulling a fast one, or is he generally? And he was generally hurt, I think.
Right.
And then you can start to feel this wave empty that obviously the rules have changed, so it wasn't an impact. It wasn't off of impact, so he can take the medical, and then it just spirals from there. But
yeah,
you know, they had such a problem with injuries. Like, I think they are a top 5 team in the world, top 6 team and 7 team in the world. And I think they left it late to qualify because of the lack of points from the world champs. But their performances over the past few weeks were solid. Like,
yeah.
I was watching them going, actually, I think they could medal. And I said that to their coach. I was like, I think you can medal here, like,
yeah,
comfortably. And they just, I'd be interested to hear what it was like from the inside. But I feel sorry for them because they're also great for the sport and they're a great team.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I haven't watched any team on YouTube more than I have Cantor Losiak. I mean, they're just a blast to watch. You know, and like you said, they're great
I can see that you're taking some of it into your game, mate. when I watch you play, I see where you're influenced.
Yeah, doing my best. Us undersized people, and then you look at guys like Adrian and Enrico. They just get so creative with it, and it's almost like they're playing an entirely different sport than what they grew up playing. And Adrian's bringing so much creativity, and he had a crazy story. I don't know if you saw his Instagram post, but just like that looked wild. His experience in Tokyo with the Italian Federation.
Yeah, he said to me, like, I was like, why haven't you got a coach? And he just said it was political reasons. So I was like, I'd leave it at that.
Yeah.
I feel like, if that actually happens, then there's a massive problem, right? Like, athletes need support. Like, you can't send, or you can't have people represent your country at a stage like this and not be supported. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just saw the couple of posts, but
yeah,
that's true. Then I don't care going on record and being like, I think that's not fair. And the highest at this show, at this event, like where the pressure's so high, you need your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And like we both said, we don't know the Italian Federation side of it, but if true, then I mean, that's so tough for Adrian and Enrico because they had such a great run just to get to Tokyo, going like fifth, fourth in Cancun. It was awesome.
Yeah, the fact that they same as you're saying about the Bello brothers, like as soon as you get off that plane in Cancun and realize there's a bit of a side wind coming in, and the skills come to the forefront of the sport a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I imagine they were pretty pumped about that. They're outside of the top 15, and then they
Oh yeah.
through events back to back where you can your game really suits the win nicely.
Yeah.
It's unreal. Like the whole story of this games has been unbelievable, really.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So you mentioned that coming in, you thought Cantor-Losiak they could medal. I did too. So right now that we're now in the bracket play.
Don't ask me, mate. I won't get it right.
Who are you taking to medal? It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. This is just a fun conversation to have. I mean, I said Agatha and Duda were going to medal, and they're already out. So I'm way more wrong than you could be.
Me too. But then even if you think about it, like right now, at the top of that draw, you've got the Vikings going through against Leshikov Semenov again from the ROC, or finally, I think I can call them Russian.
Yeah, we can call them Russia here.
It's been a while since I've been able to say that. But at the same time, you feel that they're playing really well. Like for a first-time Olympian at 24, like Leshikov's like a duck out of water here. So that's going to be tough for the Vikings to revisit that one from the earlier rounds. Like, could they medal? I think they could medal for sure. But I'm going to go with the Vikings. Not 100% sure, but yeah. If they continue playing like they did yesterday, they should be there or thereabouts. Then my guess is as good as yours. Like, can Qatar like stay at this level? Can the Vikings stay at this level? Can they actually just find their level instead of being searching for it?
Yeah.
Like, can Nikolai Lupo, like, they're maybe a dark horse to sort of come through the draw a little bit, especially on the bottom side as well. Yeah. I mean, I'm impressed with Stoyanovsky at the minute as well. Like, he's got more depth to his blocking through the pandemic, and he's spin serving. So you can see what they've been. You can see that what Russia have been looking at in terms of Stoyanovsky, and when the 6'11" guys are going so low in the block, we know we've got an issue in beach volleyball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know which way it could go. Like, I don't know. The purist in me would like to see Norway. I think Norway, for the impact they've had on the sport, deserve to go to those final stages.
Yeah. I think I would just love to see a Norway-Qatar final. I think that would be the purest possible gold medal match. You have the team that's been the best during the quad, and you have the team that's been the best during 2021. And both of them such fun stories. Like Qatar, tiny little Qatar is right now the best team in the world, and Norway, one of the coldest countries on the planet.
But also the story behind like both of the guys, like it's such a phenomenal story of where they've started from to now being the favorites for an Olympic gold medal. Like, unreal. Yeah. So of course they deserve it. Like, everyone deserves it to an extent.
Yeah.
But also the thing is with Russia is like in 2019, like they won the world champs coming in off not great form, the World Tour finals. So after they won the world champs, they weren't in great form. And they won the World Tour finals. Like, you can't underestimate them either.
Mm-mm.
And they've been building something for this moment, but we still haven't seen the best of them yet. So we'll have to wait. So I don't think they'll be far away either.
I don't think so either. I think that it would be the most fitting if you just take into account a holistic view of the quad. I think the most fitting podium would be Norway, Qatar, and Russia.
I agree.
Russia being Stoyanovsky, Krasilnikov.
Yeah.
But I do think that the player who might be having the best Olympics individually might be Semenov. He's playing fantastic.
Yeah, like literally, he's having a blast, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Like, I always say, like that team Semenov and Krasilnikov, like for me, were always a team that should have done a hell of a lot more than they did. So I'm actually quite happy for them that they're both playing pretty well.
Yeah.
They've had that before, and they're happy with their new partner, which is great.
Yeah,
And
man,
the women's is just as interesting.
it is. It is. I mean, I think that I'm glad to see Mel and Pav on one side of the bracket and April and Alex on the other, because I think just the most appropriate gold medal match has to be April Alex versus Pavin and Melissa. Just from they've met in I think 7 finals in the last 2 years alone. I think it would just be so fitting for them to get another one. But April's got to go through Laura Ludwig, and I don't know what the result of their Cuba match is. But if they beat Cuba, they got to run through Ludwig, who she plays pretty well in the Olympic stages, and Mel and Pav have to play Australia. And I think the Australians are so good.
Yeah, Australia will have something to say about that, and also the matchup for Australia against Pavin with the way they play. Like it's a really good matchup for Australia. Like probably a better matchup for Australia than it is for Canada.
Agreed.
And Australia have a really good head-to-head against Canada as well.
Yeah.
So I back the Australians to go quite far in this, but that game, the quarterfinal would be great. Australia Canada would be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
if that happens.
We got a lot of fun volleyball coming up, Lewie.
I don't know where it's going, like whatsoever. And then you've got Heather and Brandy who are just like digging their heels in, like playing good volleyball. They've got the Latvians, and the Latvians are getting better, but they're not going to be getting any worse.
Right.
At this competition, and they're growing week in, week out in everything they're doing. The consistency now is better than it's ever been, and they're still 22 years old or something ridiculous. So yeah, who knows? I would say that Australia Canada game is monumental in terms of the competition, because they're the best. Australia are the best chance of beating Canada on the way through, and the way they serve and run their offense. Pavin will find it. She'll have to be on really good form to keep her eyes through the net and figuring out how to stop Clancy and Attachio too.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch. I mean, because even McHugh and Schumann, because they run that just spread offense, just pass to one pin, set to the other pin. And sometimes, like it did against Norway, it works out so well when they're crisp and they're running it. But sometimes it just comes to their own detriment. But I think that's what Maria Fay and Taliko Clancy do so well, is that they don't let it get out of control. They keep it so they don't force it. And so I think they just pass so well. I think passing, if they pass well, I'm with you. I'd favor Australia against Canada.
Yeah, I think it's a great matchup. It's a really good matchup for them. Yeah, we'll see. But I feel like the girls also run. They don't just run to the outside. They run outside in. They run. Yeah, they'll do anything they can to lose the blocker. And as you said, like I feel that a bit more versatile. But when the boys play well, like I've seen Chris and Damo, who are amazing guys, and the girls are awesome as well. Like love them dearly. Seen them like lose to like New Zealand on a windy day where they've still tried to play it in New Zealand. I was lucky enough to be there doing some commentary and randomly in New Zealand on a beautiful beach. And it's blowing a hoolie and they're still trying to run the spread offense. But then you've also like Damo and Cole Durant almost beat Evandre Bruno 15th, like they lost 15-13 at the World Champs.
Yeah.
Same as here. Like it's actually sometimes a problem for them on a variable day, but against the best teams in the world, it's also the things that brings them up to the level as well. So I don't know the right answer. It's the beauty of the sport.
It is. And I think one of the beauties of this Olympic Games in particular is how many Olympic debuts there are. And pretty much the podium's going to be filled with new Olympians. I mean, you have Anders and Christian are both making their Olympic debut. Leshikov is making his Olympic debut. Maria Fay Artacho is making her Olympic debut. Alex Kleinman, Ahmed Tijan is making his. Stoyanovsky is new to the Olympics. So pretty much anyone who's favored to win a medal is brand new to the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, in the women's, I've just got it here. 19 of the the last 32 were first-time Olympians in the women's. So it's only Ludwig, Lily, and Elsa. They're in their third games. Ludwig's in her fourth.
Okay.
And then you got April, Agatha, and Xie Chen, who obviously got knocked out yesterday. So that she took a 2008 bronze medal. So yeah, it just shows like over half the field are first-time Olympians. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The men's wasn't quite as men's isn't quite the same. I don't know what. I've got so many documents open, mate.
I bet you do.
Honestly, I can't even explain it. I've got like 5,000 different documents. So,
I bet.
yeah, and it's partly because I'm busy, but it's partly just because I'm scatty.
Well, you're doing so many things over there. Like you're covering all these beach volleyball matches, indoor volleyball matches, then you're doing skateboarding.
Yeah.
How'd you get roped into skateboarding?
Sorry to any skateboarding fans out there. Sorry. Anything I can say. I did snowboarding, and the way it works out here is they like versatility. They like it's such a big beast, and people would be the same. Like volleyball commentators are a bit random at times, and it's people doing it for the first time, because you get here and there's a lot of sport to cover, and we're all in the same office, and there's a boss above me, and coordinators who basically have a lot of things to consider when they choose people to commentate for them. So that's why we end up all going into different things at different times, and how your voice, and I think it's just because I get really pumped up about sport that they thought that would be fun for skateboarding. But yeah, I'm learning. It's a baptism of fire. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I've never covered it before, but luckily my snowboarding and skiing help a bit, I guess. You ain't see my next games like next week. Like,
just figure it out as we go, Louie.
Yeah, story of my life, mate.
That's it.
Baby step at a time. We have some good volleyball coming up, which is the saving grace. So if skateboarding fails, I can just go watch beach volleyball.
That's it. But man, you have a lot of talking to do this week, so I don't want to keep you here too much longer. You need to rest your voice, and you got some matches to cover tonight. But Louie, man, it was great to chat with you tonight, brother.
Yeah, it's great fun, and keep up the good work as well. And yeah, let's fingers crossed for Try and for Jake and Richie as well, and Taylor. Like big story of this games, and I think like the whole community really feels it. Like,
I think so.
I think that's a real big plus as much as it is an advantage. Like everybody's sort of rooting for those guys too. So I know Try's not here, but yeah, I think we all feel excited for him, but we feel just in a strange position with everything. And
right.
Yeah, it's just everyone's rooting for those guys to play their best, and it's great to see.
Yeah, me too.
Good luck then. It's been great. It's been an honor. As big an honor as the Olympics.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Well, thanks for the time. Get some rest. Close out some of those documents. And good luck. Have fun with the beach volleyball, and good luck with the skateboarding. I wish you the best, my friend.
Thanks, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, shoots, Louie.